Hello, and welcome to Two Profs in a Pod. I'm Tanisha.
I'm Beth.
And we are faculty, developers, and professors at Glendale Community College in Arizona.
And we like talking about teaching, learning, and other stuff.
And today we are going to talk about top 10 ways to wrap up and wind down. So why are we talking about this, Beth?
So we are doing this somewhat rogue episode because earlier in the season, we had an episode called The Top 10 Ways to Get It Together.
Yes.
And that was to help instructors come up with things they could do to sort of get ready for the onslaught of work they were about to have. So we wanted to come up with maybe a nice little bookend for the end of this season to have an episode that talks about going in the other direction.
Yes.
And that's a hard transition for some people like me. So it helps me to talk about that with people because I get ideas.
Well, that's great. All right. So I guess we're ready to get started with the list.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it. All right. So, Beth, you're going to start with our first one?
Okay. So number 10. Number 10 is a time to look over the notes that I've taken about things I want to change in my class. Or if it was a rough semester and I didn't get those specific notes down, to take a moment to think about each of my classes and jot some notes down about changes I want to make. And then at my leisure over the summer, I can work on making those changes.
And summertime is definitely a great time to work on that. So also, just to tag on to that, I also recommend this software called Trello.com. And it's just a space where you can create these different boards and these different lists. So I use it because that's how I keep my ongoing list and notes for my classes. So I have 3 different columns. One of them is for one of my preps. So one prep, another prep, and then also another option is just to keep an ongoing list for all of my classes. So I use that. The great thing is that you can access it either via your desktop or also on your mobile phone. So I highly recommend Trello. I love it.
So if you want to be really sophisticated, you use the digitized.
You can use
world,
the digitized world.
as opposed to me and the pen and pencil and paper.
There's nothing wrong with pen and pencil and paper. I love pen, pencil, and paper. It's just that it didn't work for me because I would write it down somewhere and then it would just disappear. Everything else I could write down and I could just poof, like magically it'll show up and I know where to find it. But every time with my classes, I cannot find that list. So I just put it in Trello. Yeah. But pen and pencil, do what works for you. You do you, boo.
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Number 9 is all you, Tanisha.
Number 9 is don't trip before the finish line. So I think it's very hard towards the end of the semester to really just keep that train going, right? It's been a long semester. You have a couple of weeks left, but I say don't trip before the finish line because you want to take things one day at a time and finish strong. If you have trouble motivating yourself or pushing yourself to finish things, I think about, remind yourself why you're here, your goal, your purpose, and who you're serving. I believe we talked about that in the last top 10 list that we did as far as the top 10 ways to get it together is to remind yourself of your purpose. So there's nothing wrong with coming back to that. Your students feed off of your energy. If you check out, they'll check out as well. So I know sometimes in my classes, I just had this conversation with my classes. I just told my classes specifically that, don't trip before the finish line because it's kind of like a 5K. So like with a 5K, I remember when I ran a 5K, the first, only, and last time I will ever run a 5K. I just about died. But I remember I was committed to running the whole time, even if it wasn't very fast. And I remember just feeling so tired, but I saw that finish line and something inside me was like, girl, you better not stop running. You better keep running. So I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And now to this day, I can say I ran a whole 5K because I didn't stop. So I think it's the same mindset is don't trip before the finish line, right? See that finish line and finish strong. Good.
I like it. Okay, that takes us to number 8, which is to think about a goal for next year or next semester. The time frame is totally up to you. And let yourself do some marinating on it over the summer. So be really intentional about what you want to work on and tell your brain to think about it. So I've already decided I'm going to take on peer review as a project, as a personal project. So I'm going to be reading and studying about peer review and learning some new methods and experimenting with my classes. But for the summer, I might dig in a little bit to peer review, but I really just want to tell that part of my brain that keeps working on things, we're doing peer review. Think about peer review. come up with some ideas about peer review.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really good. I love what you said too, is like marinate on it on the summer, right? Like really give your time to really think about your goals, whether they're really general or specific and measurable. There's different ways that really people go about their goals. However, you set your goals, whatever works best for you and will help you to get it done. I say do it. You have the summer, so marinate on it. Yes. Okay. Next one is number 7, which is recap your year. So what that means is really, really consider what went well, what could be improved, and then also figure out how you can excel. So, for example, one of the things that I always strive for in my classes is active learning and engagement, less lecture, more interaction in my lectures. These are different things that drive the lessons and the competencies, which I feel like I'm doing well right now. But one thing that can definitely be improved are like the examples that I use in my class. So now I'm hitting that point in my course material where my sources are coming across as dated, whether it's the references that are made in that video. Like there's this one video that I just showed this week, which was Seth Godin's talk about tribal leadership. And it came out in 2009, and he references the Kindle, how one of the things he wants to revolutionize is the ability to like leave comments in the Kindle. And he showed like the first edition of the Kindle and how he was super excited for version 2. And I was watching it and I was like, oh, that's really old. I need to update that. So I think it's very helpful to really think about those things and keep that ongoing list as far as what can be improved and figure out how we can excel.
Hey, at least we still have Kindles and haven't moved on to the next thing.
True.
So it's not that old.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So yes. Thank you. Thank you. Make me feel a little bit better. It's not like it's a Walkman.
Right?
Girl, let me tell you, this happened this morning in my class. We were talking, I forgot what I said. Somehow I mentioned Walkmans. And this is the first time I had a student ask me, what is a Walkman? And I just about died.
That's pretty funny. But if you think about the word though, right? If you had no context for it and you just heard that, Walkman.
Well, then I said,
you'd have no idea.
Well, then I said, it's a cassette player. And he was like, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, ooh, well, I just feel really old. But okay.
You tried.
I tried. But yeah, I just need to update my stuff.
Okay. No, that's a good plan. We all need to do things like that periodically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, that takes us to number 6. Reflect on your habits. So set a goal for a new habit that you would like to start. And that goal could be anything. It could be health and wellness. It could be a reading habit, a gardening habit. It doesn't really matter what it is, but I know summer has always been a good time for me to start new things because I can do it on a regular basis. So like, for example, if it is working out, I could, I'm going to get up at 5 every day and go to the gym. And I can do that because I'm not sleeping in a little bit later because I stayed up late grading papers or whatever. Like I have that time to dedicate to a new habit.
Right.
And then hopefully when the semester starts, I could keep going.
Right.
Because I've put in enough time. I've gained the momentum. I've done it every day for the last 30 days or however long you're supposed to do it till it becomes a habit. And I keep going.
That's great.
Oh, number 5. I did get this one from talking to some of my colleagues the other day, Holly Jacobus and Ray Lira. And they suggested a couple items having to do with cleaning or really organizing, right? So clean out the office, organize the office, Marie Kondo the office, your space. And Holly looked at me kind of funny when she said that because she knows that I organize in piles and I really need to organize those piles and do some recycling and right so that when we come back at a new semester, like the space is it's got good energy.
Yes.
And you're ready for new ideas and there isn't that clutter.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that most of our audience, they're very organized people and don't have clutter anyway, but.
Who?
I don't know. It's not me, but.
No, I know quite a few people. Like I'm thinking about the pile on my desk right now.
Okay.
Like
all right.
And also some other offices I have seen. I will not put anyone.
We won't mention names.
I will not mention names, but I think that's just a reflection of a creative and hardworking mind.
Let's tell ourselves that.
I'm gonna tell that to myself every night.
Okay. And Ray suggested it's a good time too to maybe kind of go through the emails and do some cleaning. I know instructors who do that throughout the semester and throughout the academic year, but there are always those days probably where we just get overwhelmed with emails and we have other things going on, and then we prioritize based on how important it is, who it's from, whatever. And so I know if I go 200 or 300 emails back, I've got ones that I really just need to delete.
Right.
But they're sitting there.
Yeah. Especially in those Gmail accounts, because you can just house so much. So
doing that organizing, doing that cleaning so that starting with the new semester, everything's fresh.
That's great.
It sounds good.
I love it. I love what you said about Marie Kondo. All right, next one, number 4. Number 4 is from me, start making summer plans to reconnect with loved ones over the summer. Family, friends, significant others. That could be fur children. It could be a wide range of different things, because we know that as educators, when the semester starts, we're not as connected as we could be. I think that's just because of just the demands of the job. We're serving students and other faculty and staff and projects, organizations, grants, etc. So yes, we try to spend time with our loved ones, but it's really hard during the semester. So I think the summer is a great time to carve some time and space for your loved ones, because we know that relationships matter, right? Relationships lead to happiness, especially when they're positive and constructive. They really do contribute to our overall well-being and our quality of life. So I think it's very important to make summer plans to reconnect with loved ones over the summer. And the next one, did you have any comments on that one?
No, I'm in complete agreement with you because, well, we won't go into it, but I'm in complete agreement with you. Okay, it's very important to make those reconnections.
Yes, reconnect. And so that'll take me to number 3, which is start compiling your summer book list and your Netflix viewing list. Because one of the things I learned about educators, we love Netflix, but we also love Hulu. We love just about anything streaming. We are absolutely all over it. So why not start that early? I think it's a great time to kind of start, doing that whole, saving to a watch later list and say, what, I'm going to read this or I'm going to watch that. I know I have an ongoing list of things, but I also recommend that if you do have a watch later list, like make sure you also give yourself some time to watch it, maybe set a deadline to watch it so that you don't accumulate that. I know one thing I have a bad habit of doing, like in my YouTube video feeds, is that I'll save a bunch of videos to watch later. And the next thing you know, I have 100 videos I need to watch. So it's very helpful, I think, to not only save for watch later, but actually watch the things you're going to save. And summer is a perfect time to do that.
Love it.
Yes.
So number 2 is to recharge. Yes. And it's related a little bit to number 1, which is leave. And I'm connecting those two because I have had summers where I have not recharged like I should. And then had a really busy academic year after that and found myself being burned out like most of the year. Yeah. Because I just did not get to recharge like I should have. So my leave as the number 1 is, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, to really create that excellent boundary between I just finished working. And then I really have to tell myself, okay, you know what? Don't go back into work, Beth. Just like you're done. You don't need to keep going back in. But that's so hard for me that to actually leave helps me do that. And this didn't happen for me until year 27.
27 years.
27 years. And then I actually left. I left the country, and it was just kind of a revelation to me, right? That I was able to much more quickly get a little bit relaxed, even though it was travel and it was and that was stressful in its own way, to get that distance from work. I should say a different kind of work, because even that travel was work, but it was a different kind of work. So I really recommend it. Go somewhere with horrible Wi-Fi or no Wi-Fi and just maybe be out in nature and connect with nature and change the whole feeling and atmosphere.
Yeah, because I know when the semester ends, I'm pretty much like, okay, I'm done. Shut down. I'm off the grid. That's what I kind of tell myself. I am off the grid. My emails, I'm done with my emails. I'm done with grades are submitted. Everything. I am checked out. From this time to this time, I am checked out. Because one of my greatest fears is coming back and I'm not recharged. So I think that this is a great tip. Just leave. All right. So what's on the radar?
What's on your radar?
Oh, well, what's on my radar is, like, now our listeners know I'm a nerd. So, of course, Avengers Endgame is on my radar. My husband and I, we're both nerds. We are so excited to see it. We're excited to really see how things are going to end. We've been waiting for this for years. This has been a part of Marvel storytelling for a really long time. There are a lot of speculations about what's going to be happening. So we are definitely looking forward to it, especially with how Infinity Wars ended. I still have not seen Infinity Wars for a second time. Like every time I think about watching it, I get depressed and sad, and I just can't. I don't want to relive that experience. So that is my radar.
So my radar is one thing that's almost in the rear view right now, and that is Jordan Peele's movie Us, which I've wanted to see since it came out, and I just have been busy on weekends and so forth and haven't gotten out to see it. But I really, really, really want to see that because I love his film.
Yes.
I loved his film Get Out. And I'm super excited to see this one.
Awesome.
And then I just saw a preview for a new Netflix show coming out, and it was tweeted. Well, the teaser was tweeted by Black Women Horror Studies, which is awesome. I get so many articles and ideas from them. But it's a show called Chambers, and the 90-second teaser was just pretty horrifying. It looks really scary. So I'm excited. And it looks like maybe I need to check the years that these were all made. It looks like maybe there might be a little bit of Jordan Peele influence, but I haven't read anything about it. I need to do some reading and researching into years that they were made and who directed and wrote and so forth.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on to nuggets. So I am leaving you with this nugget on today. So today I'm sharing wise words I learned from a show called Parks and Recreation. And the wise words I have to share with you today is treat yourself. Over the summer, treat yourself. When everything is said and done, treat yourself to something that you want to do. It could be a trip, a massage, or a new hobby. Mine right now, my husband and I are really into archery. So my husband and I are going to treat ourselves to more lessons, and we're going to have some bows for our practice over the summer. So we're really looking forward to that. All right. Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm Tanisha.
I'm Beth.
Thank you for joining us today on Two Props on the Pod. We'll see you next time.